buttons were on Restream were in a different position.
Oh,
See, yeah, because I
okay.
was like, why am I not seeing it? So now we should see it. That see, Biz Chicks is live.
Okay. Thank
See, yeah.
goodness.
I was like, why am I not seeing it? So now we should see it.
So now we
Now
can,
we're live. Okay,
okay.
okay. So
Hey.
welcome, Terry. Welcome again, please.
Welcome, everybody, to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business. It's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations. So we don't want to leave anybody out. So get ready to hydrate and enjoy some wonderful conversation. I'm here with my co-host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. And I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. We have a wonderful guest that's joining us today, and I'm going to allow Francine to introduce her now that we have discovered where we really are. Fran, could you introduce our guest today?
Yes, today in the house we have Gail Turner Brown, all the way from around the world. Gail has been traveling the world, and we're going to ask her some questions about that. And she's been
Mm,
doing it in a unique way, staying at Airbnbs,
I
traveling
love
while
it.
black, staying in Airbnbs. And from the looks of it, she's been having fun doing it. So, like Terry said, welcome to the show. Welcome to the conversation. Please put it questions in if you have questions for Gail, and we will answer those for those live and on the replay. So let's get into the
Okay.
conversation. So, Gail, I'm going to ask the first question, and I'm going to let Terry pick up after that. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Okay, well, first, before any of that, I want to tell you thank you guys
Oh,
for having me on your show. I'm like, oh
oh,
my God, I know you guys were like what 3, 4 years, something like that.
yes.
So I'm super excited to be here, and so I guess I would consider myself a serial entrepreneur. I've been a real estate investor, but I've been doing a lot of online marketing and how I met you guys, I was doing live streams. I've been
Hmm.
live streaming for at least 3 years, right? And so about a year or so ago, I had an epiphany, and so after conducting an interview with a woman who
Hmm.
was an Airbnb host, but she was also sharing with other people how they could create an entire business around Airbnbs. And so after talking to her, some light bulbs started flashing on because at the time I was in California. I'm from Maryland. I was in California when I met her, and so I decided to go on a venture. You know how you just like, I want to do something different. I'm just like ready for a shakeup. And so I decided to not only travel, but travel while checking out Airbnbs, talking to the host, seeing what it's like from the perspective of not only the host, but as a guest, because I had never
Hmm.
been a guest in an Airbnb before. So I started doing that. Well, the next thing I knew, as I began to do that, your mind begins to expand and grow. And I'm like, I don't have to just do this in the United States. Let me
Mm.
do this. They've got, I think it's like they're in like 190 countries.
Wow.
So yeah. So last year I decided, you know what? Okay, that is cool. And I started researching the side. I'm going to go internationally, see what it's like. And so last year, I spent from September through March staying in Colombia in South America. And it's really been exciting because every time I do something, my mind expands and it starts
Uh-huh.
growing to different areas, and I'm discovering different things. So it's definitely been an adventure. I'm back in the States now, but I will be heading out again in late September. So
Oh,
that,
you
yeah.
the question is where you're going next, but
Where am I
okay.
going? Yeah. so, so that's the mystery. And
Uh-huh.
actually, I seriously thought about doing a thing of, where in the world is GTB?
Okay. Forget
because
Carmen Sandiego, huh?
yeah, yeah, because again, when you start expanding your mind, then all this information begins to come to you, right? And so once I got back, I actually Fran mentioned it. I got into conversations with well, let me back up a second. When I got back from
Mm-hmm.
California, I did a live stream talking about my experience with Airbnbs in California. Okay. And a friend of mine asked a question that I hadn't thought about. And she said,
Mm-hmm.
have you had any issues traveling as a Black woman?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I hadn't thought of that. So from there, I began to start asking that question. And I discovered that there is literally an entire, I want to say, genre of African American women in particular, but African Americans in general, who are traveling and not just traveling. I mean, they are location independent. They are living
Mm-hmm.
in other countries outside of the US. And so I really started honing in on that and began to talk to those individuals, and those have been some amazing conversations I've had and
Mm.
revelations I've had, just tapping into that. So um, when I decided from Colombia, I was like, okay, so where am I going to go next? I'm trying to, and look, anybody have any suggestions? I am totally open to it, but I think I'm kind of narrowing my next destination, either Portugal or Panama. I'm just trying to figure
Mm.
out which. And then actually this morning I got up and said, maybe Thailand. Let me go.
Wow.
So yeah. And that's the thing. The whole world is available to you when you have location independence, because that's pretty much what we're talking about is being able to take your not just your income, but your work with you no matter where you live in the world. Because thanks to technology, that's what we can do now.
That's right.
I
You know,
like what she said, location independent.
It
location,
wasn't that
yes.
was an interesting term, wasn't it? Yes.
Right, because I
Yes.
can see how you could do that. And like you say, the technology allows you to be anywhere and everywhere as long as you got Wi Fi, you
That's
Yes.
it. That's it. That's my only criteria when I'm looking for. Because let me tell you, this being from the states and you
Uh-huh.
start traveling, you when you become accustomed to your Wi-Fi being the same, and
Yes.
we complain even here, right? What Comcast is doing this and then the third. But when you go somewhere else and the Wi-Fi is not quite what you are accustomed to, it can be kind of challenging. And so at the Airbnbs, a lot of times I would assume, oh, they say they have Wi-Fi, it should be cool. And a couple of times I've gone and I could not get any of my devices to work because it wasn't strong enough.
Mm.
And yeah, but that's the main criteria. It's like give me some Wi-Fi, and I'm good. And now, people used to say, as long as you have a laptop and internet. Well, now
Yes.
a lot of the things work with your phone. So it's like you
Yes.
can have your phone and the internet, and you good. So
right.
you know.
This is ingenious.
Yeah, I mean, and you would be surprised at some of the things that people are doing. Um,
Mm.
there are a lot of, and so they call them digital nomads. Now,
Okay.
the digital nomads that I've met, and this is where it kind of gets interesting too, because I've really begun to niche and niche and niche. A lot of the digital nomads that I've met are normally in the millennial age, right? And
Yes.
so I'm like, well, what do you call more mature people? Because a lot of times people don't even realize that they can do this too. Think about people who are either thinking about retiring or they just tired, from being here and they want to go do something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, okay, well, we can have the roving retirees, so the digital nomad.
Ah.
But they're doing things like teaching English. That's a huge thing
Mm-hmm.
that people are doing. Teaching English to other, to other places. So English as a second language, and you don't have to necessarily be certified. If you are, that increases your income, but you
Uh-huh.
don't always have to be. And check this out. This was so freaking cool. There is a place that if you just want to talk, if
Mm-hmm.
you like talking to people, there's a resort in Spain, and it also have one in Germany. It's totally free for the entire week. You get all your meals, you get your accommodations. The only thing that you have to do is to talk to the people who are there, because they're there to interact and to
Mm-hmm.
learn conversational English. And so you have to commit to, I think it's between 8 to 10 hours a day. They pair you up with people. So between 8 to 10 hours a day, having conversations with them in English, so to help them with their English. And so
Oh,
you can literally hang out in Spain for an entire week, totally free, if you're willing to have conversations with people.
to help them be immersed in English.
Exactly.
So you get to be in Spain and speak English.
Exactly.
Correct, which is even better,
It's
right?
even better, right? It's even better. So
Like, yes.
yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I can do that. So that is on my list.
Uh-huh.
When I was looking at going to Portugal, Madrid and Portugal, Spain and Portugal are right next to each other. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I can do that. So I seriously may be doing that.
Wow. You
Yeah,
know what I was thinking was, having been a history teacher, what a nice idea to connect with teachers that are teaching world history,
yeah.
and to be standing in Portugal, or to be standing on the Colosseum steps in Rome
Oh
and
yeah,
talking about Plato and aristocracy, and just you know being in the place live,
yes, yeah.
talking to a classroom for a couple of minutes.
And so here's the thing: this is not a classroom.
No,
This is everyday conversation around the
no,
dinner
no, I
table.
wasn't talking about
Oh,
that. I was
oh,
just
you're
talking
talking.
about the fact that you are traveling to these places.
Yes, yeah. It really is amazing. One of the things in my background, I was literally an international travel consultant for the World Bank for like 20 years.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it afforded me an opportunity to literally travel all over the world. Um, but this time is a totally different mindset to visit versus to really be in a country that you are willingly and wanting to immerse yourself in the culture and the people and so forth. And so um, I've always loved traveling. I've always oh God, really enjoyed other cultures, the food, the flavor of other places, and personally believe that everybody should have a passport because it's a totally different experience,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a totally different perspective once you do that and you come back. It's just uh, and it's just culturally enriching, to have that experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the
This.
things I'd like to put a pin in when you mentioned about passports, by
Mm-hmm.
2020, which is not that far away, about 4 months or so,
Mm-hmm.
you will have to go to your local DMV. I know here in California, your regular driver's license, if it doesn't, it needs to be federally approved now, meaning
Right.
that you have to have the one that'll allow you to, you're not going to be able to use your regular driver's license. So you,
Exactly. That's what I've been told that as well. So, so good. That's just a good a reason as any to get your passport and to get up out of town. You know,
Right. And
you
make sure
know,
you get back in the country.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Once you leave, you want to be able to get back in. So,
Well, maybe you do it, maybe you don't. It all depends. I
so
have met a lot of people who have left and said, you know what? That's
I'm
it.
good.
Peace out. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You know,
Wow.
I have a cousin. I have a cousin who went to England. He was going on a 6 month tour of England with some friends and stayed 30 years.
Oh my.
Right. It's really funny because when he came back, he had a British accent and everything. And he's actually the first person I interviewed on my podcast. It was so funny to hear because I'm like, you did not leave here like that.
but that's what happens when you get immersed in a culture.
Yes,
You're going to
yes,
pick up the
Mm,
language. And then that's why we talk about how important it is, even in business, who you hang around.
yeah,
yes.
You're going to pick up that
yeah.
culture in your business. And so spend 30 years with somebody, you'll start talking like them, acting like them.
And that is, and I hadn't thought about that, but that is absolutely totally correct.
Hmm.
Because I would notice certain changes in my language,
See?
depending on who I'm hanging out with.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, it's like and what do they always say that when it comes to your success, it's like you are as successful as the closest five people that you
People around you.
hang.
Yes.
And so it's the same thing. But I also did an interview with a young lady who left. She's born and raised in Houston.
Hmm.
She's always wanted. She loved French, and decided to move to Paris. And it was like 1994, I think. And I interviewed her, and she has no accent. She still sounds like she comes from the U.S. But she has no. I was like, "Are you ever coming back here?" She's like, "To visit," but I would not. This is
Oh
my
wow.
home now. But I asked her. I said, "Do you feel like you are French, or do you still feel
Mm.
American?" And she said she still feels American. Where my cousin, he said, I think I feel British. Now he's back in
Really?
the States, but like I said, he has a British accent. And because he totally mentally immersed, he said he felt like he was just connected,
Ah,
to England. And so,
amazing.
yeah, so that was the difference.
Well, see, and then that goes back to business too. Are you all in?
Yes. Oh, good point. Yes. Are
Yeah,
you in 100%?
yeah,
Are
because
you?
you can dabble in it, or you can just
Hmm.
dive in and just be all in on whatever it is. So, how did you get started? Because you did money stuff, and I had no idea that you
I
worked
had no idea
for a
that you.
bank and all of that. So, how did you get started on this quest?
Well, you know, you know how there are times that you want something different,
Mm.
but you don't know exactly what to do. And so, literally, I mean, this won't sound crazy to you guys at all. I remember one night, I'm like, okay, I need to just let go,
Mm.
okay, and allow, right?
Yes.
Because I was just really needing something, a shake up. And when I woke up, I had the guidance to say, you know what? You do not have to stay here. Your children are grown, they're gone. You don't have anybody but you. And I remember seeing something that says if you want something to change, you can change. You're not a tree, you're not planted. You can go anywhere you want. And so, and even the how always manifests itself once you've
Mm.
made that decision.
Mm.
And so that's what I did. And as I began to research it and look into it, and more importantly, when I saw how many other people were doing it, and it was like, oh, this isn't strange. You can do this. And so it just that and that's how it began. So it began with a seed of desire, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that the answer will come. You just got to let it go, and and then it started. And it started from there, and I began to meet people. I met a group of people in when I was in Colombia that became friends with. um, and it's just been really growing, and I'm enjoying it. And somebody asked me, my granddaughter asked me, it was like, Grandma, where do you live? I live in the world, girl. It's I live in the world. And
What
everybody can do that.
what great legacy to
Right.
to give her the gift of no borders.
Yeah, and I like that. That's right. That no borders, no boundaries,
Exactly.
and that you can do. And she wants to go to Paris.
Ah,
And
beautiful.
so, and it is. I mean, I've been to Paris like 3 or 4 times, and I love it. There are some people who don't,
Mm-hmm.
but I love Paris. But yeah, the idea, because that was the thing I found. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to tap into the African American market.
Mm-hmm.
There, there's a thing, that we have in our heads that's not something that Black folks do. You
Mm.
know, and when I was during the time that I worked at the World Bank, I would literally feel uncomfortable sharing with my friends who didn't work at the World Bank what I
Uh-huh.
did that weekend, because I very well could have been, which I have done. I was like, I was in Brazil. I kept my passport with me. I didn't even have ID. My passport was my ID because I
Mm-hmm.
never knew what was going on in my country.
Oh, we got a frozen. I think it's going to come back.
Yeah, I think it is too.
So,
Wow. We need to stop limiting ourselves for one thing.
yeah, no borders.
No more borders. Here she goes. No borders. And to give that legacy to the next generation, what a beautiful gift to know that you can do business anywhere, which we really do know, but you could physically be wherever you want to be and keep your business going.
Right. You just need to make sure you have great internet
Hmm.
connectivity. You have a phone or a laptop and go.
And I remember when I was thinking about retirement, I was looking at, how can I travel? And one of the things that was interesting was that Disneyland and
I
other
can't.
countries.
Okay. I,
Hi, you're back. Is looking for English speaking employees, which I thought was interesting. So you could literally work at all the Disney worlds around the globe, um, and not have to have any special training because they were looking for you specifically, which I thought was unique.
Right.
Sort of like people who decide that they're going to do cruises instead of stay put once they're retired, that they would
there we
just go
go.
from cruise to cruise. How you doing, Gail?
Okay, so
Okay, now where were we?
So I'm going to the next question I will
Mm-hmm.
pose. I think you have the next question too, but this was a really good eye opener. Um, the location, independence,
That's yes. That
okay.
hi.
All right.
There
It's like,
she
oh,
is. It's all
what?
right.
There we
It's okay.
go. Okay.
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, there's something. Well, but we're good. So,
Okay.
what was the biggest challenge you faced getting started?
Trying to figure out what I was going to do with all my stuff.
Ah,
You know,
good answer.
that was the biggest one, and I found that once I started getting rid of stuff, that's the other
Mm-hmm.
thing too. A lot of times people are stuck because they're stuck with stuff.
They're
you know,
babysitting their
things.
stuff.
Yeah, and so and all the outfits that you swear you're gonna wear when you get all when
Stop.
and all that, and you got all this stuff. Once you start releasing it, that's
Mm-hmm.
the other thing I found too. When I started releasing, I don't really need this, right? Then other things began to open up. And so, like, I got rid of everything I had that was winter because I did
Mm-hmm.
not want to go anywhere that was cold.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I'm in, well, y'all are in California, but you're in Northern California, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, so y'all, and then, in Maryland, I was sick of cold. I'm tired of
Seasonal.
snow, all of
Uh,
that, right? And so I'm
mm-hmm.
like, I want to go somewhere warm. So I got rid of everything I had that was wintry, all my coats, everything. And so that was the biggest thing. After I told my kids, well, my sons, where I was, they were like, oh, okay, just let us know. And so after that, and here's, I guess I'll say, a tip. If anybody decides, because one of the questions that some of my friends would ask is, like, okay, the first place I went was Colombia, right? And it was,
Okay.
do you know anybody there? I'm like, no. Have you ever been there before? No. And they're like, what are you doing? Well, Facebook has groups on everything,
Mm-hmm.
and so I began to tap into those groups. And they were like, women in Medellin, digital nomads of Colombia, stuff like that. And so as I began to tap into those groups, um, you make connections and things there.
Yes.
The other thing I did was, I watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Okay.
And so and there was this one particular guy that he was in Medellin, Colombia, and he was really good, and I really liked his vibe. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, I'm coming, and I would love to hook up, when I get there. And he was like, yeah, sure. And so I reached out to him, and that he was really nice. And so yeah, so a lot of times we don't do things because we've never done it before. Well, that was one of the
Uh-huh.
reasons I wanted to do it, because I'm like, let me do some stuff I've never done before. That helps to reduce your fears or get over
Mm-hmm.
your fears, and it challenges you. The other thing is, I get to Colombia. I didn't know I needed to speak Spanish. No, I didn't.
It
I,
can be a little helpful. Go
yeah,
ahead.
everywhere I've always gone, most of the places I've gone, English was their second language. It was
uh,
never an issue.
uh-huh.
Not in Colombia. And so
Oh.
that was a challenge that definitely stretched me, trying to
So let
figure
me
out.
let me ask you this. Did your phone do a lot of the
Yes,
translation? Did you find an app? Yeah.
yes,
Thank
and in fact,
goodness.
I had there are like 5 main apps that were my life, and
Okay.
Google Translate was one of them. So
Cool.
Google Translate, Airbnb, and Uber. Those were my things that I could totally. And then Facebook, because I was able to connect with people on Facebook. And
Oh,
so
Oh,
yeah,
now see, I
the
see something
go
here.
ahead.
The five top apps that you need when traveling.
exactly. And
There you go.
actually, I did when I got back.
Uh-huh.
I did a podcast on, and I did a blog on the 5 apps that you need if you're traveling anywhere, to function, and to make things a lot less difficult, challenging for you. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, but that was it. That was really the biggest issue I had, was releasing my stuff, and you'll discover that you don't need half the stuff that you have.
For real.
You really don't. And how easy it is to manage or to function when you don't have it, you know.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
And
Bec-
I didn't
be,
know what to do with all my hats. That was the other thing. So I had to get rid of some of my hats.
uh-huh.
But you still got a few that that
Yeah,
you
I have a few
keep.
that I kept, because a
Okay.
number of them that I had were very winter, for the winter. And
Oil.
I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, let me let y'all go. Y'all are so cute. I love my hats, but I gotta let y'all go. So yeah,
Just saying. S-
yeah,
So,
So the
so,
'cause I think she answered that one about the tip.
yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly. So let's ask her about the one thing. Her,
the favorite charity or cause.
yes, let's go there.
okay. My favorite charity or cause,
Mm-hmm.
it is the Wounded Warriors.
Mm.
I've met a number of wounded warriors and the challenges that they have faced when they would come back, from war, especially PTSD,
Uh-huh.
um, and just all of the things that they've encountered, that veterans have encountered as a result of being put in those situations. And so I've actually done a couple of fundraisers for that, and I donate to them. So that's my favorite charity.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you very much. Thank you. And we're going to invite. We always say this when we're talking on Mondays. You're in business not for yourself only.
Right.
Proceeds need to go to help other people, not, you know what I mean, because a lot of people
Yeah.
just want to get paid and okay,
Mm.
you need to give something. That is
Yeah.
why we suggest that every business owner adopt a cause. And
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you it's the Wounded Warriors.
The World Warriors. Yeah. Exactly. And I totally agree. You can't get unless you give.
Right.
Because that's how that flow works. Yeah, that's how that flow works. So yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, I do want to ask you this. Since you travel quite a bit, what is the one thing in your purse that you cannot do without?
My
It's probably
phone.
in your backpack, right?
It's really
My
a quick
phone.
answer. Her phone.
My
Okay.
phone.
I
My
mean, it
phone.
just makes sense.
I
I
can
know
live without
it would be
everything
for
else.
me.
Would you say?
I said I know that it would be my phone, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to assume but since it's translating for you, I
I'm
so
telling you.
would the other thing be your charger?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. That's right. The phone and the charger. I'm
And
telling you.
that
You
charger, girl,
cannot,
because
I'm telling you get that, those two things.
my
You can get
goodness,
a phone and
because I
charger.
know I
I'm
have
like,
paired it a bit.
yeah, exactly. So
Hmm.
that's it. Because everything else is nominal. I'm telling you. Because you can buy clothes from your phone,
Exactly.
right? You can whatever you need, you can get it from your phone. That
Wow.
is the only thing I could not do without. That's why when I last month I went on a cruise with my
Hmm.
family.
Okay.
So I was gone for the whole week, and you can't have internet. I mean, you could pay for it.
Yes,
You get a package, you can pay for it, but I
I hear you.
need it, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I slept.
Oh wow.
Gail.
Actually, but I enjoyed it because I was like, oh,
Yes.
okay. Is how often do you get to do that? Trying to
To
do your business, right?
just rest. Uh-huh.
Right. So I just chilled. That was it. And so yeah, yeah. I'm very
Wow.
addicted. Only people that want to be unplugged. I'm not. I don't.
I feel you. I really have no desire to be uh incommunicado.
Get like
I
off
mean,
the grid and stuff. I'm like, no, I need to be on the grid,
exactly.
and I manage the grid well.
I know. Yeah. I don't do well off the grid because I mean, you think about it. Even movies, right? It's on my
Uh-huh.
phone. You know, it's
There
so
was I have these movies because they're coming out with Matrix 4, and
yeah.
I don't have and I have 1, 2, and 3, but it's on DVD, but I don't have a DVD player.
Hmm.
And I was
Exactly.
like, I refuse to go and buy it on iTunes or whatever else to get it in my library. I said that they should have a way that I can just give them a code, the QR code or something. I already bought it. I'm not trying to buy it again. So
Right.
Mm.
I got to figure
Exactly.
that out.
We'll
I
see.
can't wait for Matrix 4. I'm trying to figure out how y'all gonna do this. What are they gonna do? Was it all a dream? Was it all in another dimension?
I don't know, but I'm wanting to see it because it's the 30-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
I
It's
know.
been that long.
No, maybe it's the 20-year anniversary because it
It had
came
to
out
be
in 2001.
20.
Did
Yeah,
it?
it was in the
It's the
90s. Yeah.
20-year anniversary,
Okay.
Dang.
but it's still the Matrix. That's all I got.
Exactly.
Okay, so guys, let me ask you this, Gail. What was your best day ever?
I don't know if I've had it yet.
Good
Hmm.
answer.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had it yet. Because you can create your day,
Yes,
right?
you
So,
can. Hmm.
what, 20, 30 plus years ago, my best day was when my first son was born. 30 some
Mm-hmm.
years, right? Um, you know, God, I've had so many. Because then my the 20 years, well, it was about, I don't know, 15, 20 years from that point. My sister and I spent 4 days in Rome or in
Mm.
Italy, and we rented a car and we just started driving, and we, and it was just the best ever that I'd had. And then this past summer, my granddaughter and I spent 3 entire days watching Stranger Things, right? Non-stop binge
Look at
watching.
Francine. You touched Francine's heart with
Okay.
that one.
And it was, I mean, I had so much, I didn't know I was going to have fun doing that, but I
Uh-huh.
mean, we had pizza and junk and sat in the middle of the bed and watched Stranger
Just
Things from season 1 through 3
Uh,
for 3 days straight.
okay, see, I couldn't do all the seasons. I have to take a bite. I did one season and okay, take a break. Then did the second season, took a break, and then I did the third season over a weekend.
Okay.
mm.
Yeah,
Well,
because
this was crazy. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, but that was a blast. So yeah, I'm still having them. Every day, every experience is the best ever because it's the only
Is the
one.
best.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
yeah, we had a
So
couple of comments. Brenna says that her favorite charity it's called Norwick's Foundation for a Brighter Future, and we got I want to say shout out to Janice Jordan
Yes. Hey, Janice.
and Brenna and Vanessa and Carlos. And I don't know why I'm not seeing the comments like I should
Mm.
over here on the side, but I'll leave that alone.
Okay.
I'm not gonna take no guidance.
so I've got a question for you ladies.
Okay.
Where in the world would you want to see? Like, what is your like dying place that you'd absolutely? I don't want to say dying. Your
No.
absolutely most fabulous place that you like. Oh, I would gotta go see this.
Well, I've already decided I want to have um, tea in England and breakfast in Paris.
So
Oh,
we've been invited to go to Edinburgh, Scotland. If you're watching Ramsey, we are coming. We gotta make it. We just got to do all the details. We'll probably have Donna from Greener Travel help us do
That
all
would
of
be
that.
good.
But we are going to Edinburgh, Scotland, just
awesome.
figuring out the logistics for it.
Right.
And maybe it's because we like all of the murder mysteries, the
I,
Sherlock Holmes,
Vera.
the all of the the British mysteries. We quite like Death in Paradise. You know what? I might want to go to the Caribbean.
To the islands for
Yeah,
death in paradise. I don't know.
yeah, but not for Death in Paradise, but
Paradise.
just go to the
I
island.
know. I know what you said. Just somewhere
Wow.
warm.
Well, it's the very first time I went to England.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a play.
Uh
It was
huh.
a it was a it was a murder mystery comedy, and so
Yes,
that was cool. So yes, and yeah, tea in England. All you got to do is make sure you're there by like 3 in the afternoon. Everything closes down because everybody's having tea.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's great. Yeah,
So Brenda says she wants to go to Greece.
fabulous. Yep, I've
Hmm
been to
hmm
Greece and three
I just
islands.
thought of another one. I'd like to go to Cuba.
You know
Really?
what? And when my family and I were trying to decide what cruise we were going to go,
Uh
and
huh.
that one came up, and I'm like, yeah, that would be kind of interesting to do. And then about 2 months later,
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
I know. Well,
The- my daughter's
Cuba
in
was
China.
good.
My
Cuba
daughter's in
was cool.
China right now, and I'm like, okay, we just.
Yeah, yeah. So Cuba got closed off to the U.S. After that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but and then see, I have family in Cuba,
Ah,
Oh,
okay, okay.
so
So will
that
they
might
still
just be
allow
a
you
different.
to go?
I don't know. We're gonna find out. I got to figure all that stuff out.
Okay.
But I got family in Cuba.
You
and
may
Brenda says she
they may
like
not let you
Fiji
back
and
in.
London. We're
Oh
not.
yeah, Fiji
We
and
are.
London. Yeah, see, beach. I must have a
Hey,
beach.
Jerry.
London does not have a beach.
No.
And I
I
wonder if
do.
look, you just um activated Siri. She says he said he didn't catch that. Okay, you don't need to catch that. Okay, he's trying to send you the Cuban brand. He's coming up with suggestions. Stop.
Oh
Okay,
God, that's too funny.
but it is always a pleasure to talk to you. You have just sparked our curiosity and
Well, good,
expanded our thinking today, Gail.
good.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
beautiful
it is
thing.
all possible, man.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Sure.
When you travel, do you how much luggage do you take?
You know, as little as possible. So
Okay.
I have a backpack, and
Okay.
I'm gonna get like so. The last time when I just finished traveling, I think I had
hmm
three pieces.
Okay.
But if I get one large piece, then I can take that one large piece in my backpack because
hmm
that is. I will say this, especially if you're traveling to a lot of different locations, traveling is exhausting. From first of all, just airline travel, they just don't make that fun at all.
Yeah.
And so that's exhausting by itself. And then if you're by yourself, you know, you have all your luggage and stuff, and they're packing and unpacking and carrying all this stuff, and it's just can be a trip. And so that's why a lot of a lot of the digital nomads are they minimalist, where they just have like
Yes.
just one backpack. Well, they're also 20 years old, and you know, I don't know I could not do that, right? Because a lot of them are sleeping in hostels and couch
Mm-hmm.
surfing. I'm not doing that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm too old to be
We
sleeping on
we need
somebody's
some 5 stars on a.
couch. Yeah,
I need
exactly.
corridors. I need
Okay. Yes.
corridors and branding. I'm feeling you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or the Airbnb. You understand? I could do an Airbnb,
Yeah.
or
And
Well,
I need a
the thing is,
hotel or Airbnb.
well, see,
yeah,
and that right.
because
I every place I stayed was an Airbnb, with the exception of the last 3 months that I was in Colombia. I
hmm
was actually able to find an apartment all to myself. Well,
Oh,
every
nice.
place I stayed, I was by myself, but I ended up having my own apartment, and
Mm.
so that was great too because everything was included, and it was fully furnished, just everything, you know, and
It was
so
home.
it was home. It was home. I did not want to leave. I did
Yeah.
not, but it turned out I was illegal, so I had to leave.
All righty, then we won't go down that. Too much
Well, I
sharing.
overstayed my visa,
Too
and so
much sharing.
I know, right? But people do you do need to know that when you, especially if you're going to stay someplace for a long period of time, you do need to be aware of, you know, what the visa regulations are, you know, and what your time stamp is. And
Okay.
I didn't pay enough attention to it, and I was first I was a day late, and then and then I was like 3 months late.
Okay.
yeah. So Yeah, and people don't talk about that in travel. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Nobody is discussing that part. They tell you go take a travel, but you might want to make sure that you got your paperwork in order and find out what the local requirements are. Not
Exactly.
go up there and just
Exactly.
like, oh, I like this. I'm just gonna camp out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
Oh my goodness.
I asked the immigration people, I said, are you going to deport me? And it was like, no, you just got to pay a penalty
Pay a fine.
and pay a
Okay.
fine. And then it's like, you can leave and then you can come back. And I'm like, okay, fine. So, so that part was cool. But yes, you people do need to be aware of, how long your tourist visa is for and what is needed if you want to extend it. Can you extend it? All kind of different things like that. So people,
Okay.
they need to know that. And you're right. No, all the research I did before I left, all the YouTube videos I watched, everything, nobody
Talked
talked
about
about
that.
that. So I had to find out the hard way.
I say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it was fine. So,
Well, Gail, it
Where can
was
I, I was
wonderful.
I was going to ask, where can we find you online if we want to hear more about your travel trips and tips and
Your
your
podcast.
podcast?
yes. So my podcast is Traveling the World While Black. They can find it either on Spotify, on Anchor. That's the main place that it is. It's on Anchor. And then I have a group Facebook page called Monetize Your Travel because we want people to be able to travel and still get paid.
Hmm.
So those are the two places.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in the chat.
Yeah. So Monetize Your Travel Facebook group. It's a closed group, so you have to ask. And then
Okay.
definitely want y'all to check out Traveling the World While Black on Anchor and on Spotify, and it's on iTunes as well.
Okay.
And it's
This is good.
monetize your travel.
Yeah, well,
No.
the podcast is Traveling the World While Black.
I got that,
Okay.
but the other one is monetize your travel
Monetize Your Travel. Yes.
on Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, that's Facebook.
Okay, I'm putting
You
that.
guys have really helped me too because the more I talk about it and getting
Hmm.
some of the questions that you're asking, I'm like, okay, this is something that people really do want to know. And the more I'm thinking about
Yes.
it, some of the things that I've kind of discovered and learned and other people don't know, you know,
Exactly.
that
In
it would
your
really,
travels.
right. And it would be really helpful for people to know.
Well, the
But
20 somethings didn't tell you nothing about the visa.
what did you say?
The 20 somethings didn't tell you, the digital nomads didn't tell you
Exactly.
about all of that.
Exactly. So yeah, I gotta let the mature people know what the real deal is.
Because
Okay.
we tend to follow the rules.
I know. Okay. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, we'd
So
like to
yeah.
get back in the country.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. So,
And,
and
and
I will say it again. Some do and some don't.
well,
That's true.
but you don't want to have the U.S. State Department come and rescue you because you didn't follow the rules of the other country,
True.
And
where you
rest
got your,
assured,
where you got your
the
parents or
State
friends or
Department ain't gonna
relatives.
come rescue you if you're not the right kind of person. So yes, you
Well,
are
see,
absolutely
you
correct.
might
No,
have some
you
issues
don't want to have your friends, family, and everybody writing letters to the senator to try and get you out because you didn't follow the rules.
You ain't
and
follow rules exactly.
and then you got the TWB going for you, so we're just going to be good with all of that. Okay. Okay.
So,
Exactly,
Brenda
exactly.
says that
But
she,
I will say this on the other side of it. Honestly, from what I've seen so far,
Hmm.
unless you're literally doing something illegal, like the dude, what was his name, Rocky, the rap dude that was in Sweden.
Oh, recently,
Okay,
yeah.
right. So unless you have done something illegal or criminal, they're not going to bother you. I mean, like you said, you may pay a fine, but you're not going to get any. You, for the most part, depending on what country you're in, you're not going to get in anything major. It's the U.S. that don't want people coming in. The other countries are like, yeah, because we like your dollars,
Yes,
right?
they want our
So
tourist money.
exactly, and
Okay.
so they're a lot more tourist
Wow.
friendly, U.S. friendly than the other way around. So that is one thing because I was kind of nervous. I'm like, are y'all gonna kick me out? And he's like, no, just pay a fine. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can do. So that is one thing I have found as I have traveled around too. But know the rules. You're totally correct. If you know the rules, then you know how to interact, and you're
Okay.
good. You're good to go.
This is
Cool.
great.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you for stopping by and chatting with us.
thank you for having me. I
We
really
didn't have any
appreciate it.
coffee or tea today, but
What'd you say about the tea?
the coffee and tea we did. You normally Terry normally has a cup of coffee, tea,
Ah,
and a
But you know, I'm
water.
traveling and I am using the backpack method. So I don't have a lot of stuff with me, Gail. So that's why I was asking you. Because I know from now on, the fact that I've discovered the ability to travel without luggage, I'm really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see, we don't have to have the five. Like when they did Coming to America, which is doing the Christmas too, where he had all of them stacks
yeah.
of stuff. I'm like,
Mm,
no.
no,
Trunks and all kind of
all that.
wonderfulness.
Well, unless you have a lot of money, you're not gonna want to do that anyway because they're gonna charge you for every extra piece. So yeah. And then not to mention, I'm not really trying to have, me in Colombia and my luggage in South Africa. It's
Yeah,
like
it's too
the
much.
yeah, it's too much. So
And
yeah.
so we're going to have you come back on and talk about travel because my mom, she does a lot of travel and stuff too. And you have there's certain things that you do
Mm.
that you keep certain things with you, and so if you ain't got but that one carry on, it has the essentials.
Exactly, exactly. And I learned a long time ago about mixing and matching. Like pick two colors, and that's all you have
Oh,
is
you
this.
mean as far as your wardrobe? Yes.
So and everything that you have always coordinates and matches with that. So you don't need a whole lot. Make sure you have a pair of black shoes. You're good. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So there's a lot of things you can do to really minimize how much stuff you're taking with you. So yeah.
Well, Gail,
Great.
thank you so much for sitting in with us today. We appreciate you and enjoy talking with you always. Um, we're looking forward the next time we get together, looking forward to hearing your podcasts and checking
Yeah.
out your group.
Yep.
And for everybody watching live and on the replay, thank you for tuning in, Brenna and all Vanessa and Carlos and Janice and everybody who's watching live. And I'm sorry we couldn't get your comments up there today for whatever reason. The comments are not popping up on the side. So I just want to say thank you.
Oh,
And Gary, go ahead.
Brenna did say she likes the movie Coming to America. Have a great day, everyone, she says.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
Nora. Thanks for
the sequel
watching.
coming for that too. This gonna be good. Yeah, Coming to America is 30 years.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
It is. It
Yeah,
is. I don't think I can watch that. I just can't. It's just
okay.
I
yeah.
think it's gonna be funny.
What you think? And it probably will. It's just sometimes I just want them to leave stuff alone.
Just let it be.
Yeah, it's like it's good. You know, it was good. And I honestly, I don't want to see everybody old now.
Oh, I see what you
That's
mean.
terrible.
Like
I mean,
a remake. You don't
yeah.
want a remake.
Well,
I
this is
don't.
not a remake.
Yeah, this is a sequel,
This
right?
is
No.
this was what's going on now. It's not a remake,
It's not a remake. It's a
Okay.
sequel. It's like part two,
right?
Oh, so
but it's
then,
30 years later,
oh no. I'm
and
with
it's
you. I'm
you know.
with you. I don't want to
I,
dye everybody's
I'm
hair
curious
blue.
to see what they're gonna do.
I know, I know, I know. My son said he has to watch it just on black
GP.
principle.
Okay.
Just on
Coming
principle.
to America was funny. It was
Funny.
just
It
good,
was
and
hilarious.
it's not been on Netflix or something. It's over
Mhm.
on I don't know if it's HBO, Cinemax, or Stars or something. I'm like, I am
Mm.
not signing up for another subscription.
No, no.
I'm with
You're
you on
right.
that one. I
I
gotta
know.
let something go before I sign up for something else. Uh, my
All right,
backpack is
then.
my backpack is full. Okay, guys.
Thank you all. We will talk to you
You
again
guys,
Thank you so
uh,
see?
much.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow TJ will be with us.
Yes.
Social media and digital marketing. Wednesday, Coach Karen, Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu on Thursday, and we're talking tech on Friday. So come
In
on
English.
In English.
We'll be talking tech in English. Don't be scared. Come on over.
back. Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful Monday. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Okay,
All right.
everyone. Don't forget
Ciao.
to go to the front of your own line. Bye bye.